Hello, Hofstra fans, and welcome to this week's edition of the WBB Coaches Report with head women's basketball coach Danielle Santos Atkinson. My name's Rachel Vogel, and Coach, how are you doing today?
I am doing great, thank you. How are you?
Great. So the Pride saw two tough losses this week against Delaware. Very, very tough team, however, 9-1 overall now and 6-0 in the CAA. Also receiving votes in the USA Today national poll for the second straight week. So Pride did have a bit of a challenging opponent this week, but what were some of your biggest takeaways from this weekend?
For us, definitely improved in preparation for that game in our box outs. And I know looking at the box score, it does not reflect that, but our team, it has a more intentional focus on making sure we box out. And so for us, that was definitely one of the things that I took away from that game is that is something that we improved on in preparing for that game that we now will take for the rest of the season and making sure that that's an emphasis. The team, obviously Delaware is a great team and they did some really good things this past weekend, but watching our team, we still had areas of growth where we continue to work. We've got to make sure that we're competing for 40 minutes. We're still continuing to work on that and put that together. We've had games where we win 2 quarters or 3 quarters, but putting together 40 minutes of competitive effort is still something we're working on. But we had a lot of areas of growth in our transition offense, a lot of areas of growth within our offense, and then defensively within our zone. So those are the areas we want to continue to grow in and continue to get better. But over the weekend, we saw a lot from our team in those areas.
And it wasn't exactly easy for Delaware, however, particularly on Saturday. You were down and came back within 3. And it always seems like Hofstra comes out of the locker room with a bit of a spark, always going on short little runs right out of the third quarter. So what sort of adjustments were you able to make to help you against the Blue Hens?
For sure. There was areas in our zone that we were very vulnerable and areas of our zone that they were taking advantage of. So I think at a halftime, we did a better job of making sure we were taking advantage. I mean, that we were closing up the areas that they were taking advantage. Offensively, we got in a better rhythm, we got in a better flow, and we were able to push and transition. And when our transition was stopped, we had a better flow offensively in the things that we were running and being able to execute a little bit better, some adjustments we made offensively there. So I think for us, as you said, we cut it to 3 and we cut it to 3 or 4 times in that fourth quarter or in that second half. And so for us, continuing to not put ourselves in a hole to where we're spending so much energy coming back. But then when we do come back and we are that close and the game is that competitive, getting over the hump to be able to finish games out.
And Jakayla Brown, huge leader for the Pride this week. She's shown continued improvement all season long. She's either set or tied her career high quite a few times, almost 5 times, I believe. And she had a career high 26 points on Sunday. So what has been setting her up for success this season so far and to be such a leader on the floor?
I think it's been her consistency. She's come out and she really did a great job in the off season of preparing herself for this year. She made a decision and she made a commitment to what that looked like for her personally, individually, and taking care of her body and during the quarantine and making sure she came back and fit and in great shape. And she did that. She worked on her game all throughout that time. And when she got back, she was prepared and ready to go. I think that started her off in a place that was above and ahead of others because she came back in a place, again, ready to go and ready to get to work on the things that we needed to get to work on as a team because she was so prepared individually. And since that time, she's been consistent. She's had a great attitude in practice. She's holding her teammates accountable and holding herself to a higher standard this year.
And Jakayla Brown, obviously the leader on the stat sheet this past weekend, but several other players who made a huge impact on the court. So are there any other players that you'd like to point out from this weekend that you thought worked hard and had a great showing?
For sure. I mean, we had people step in. We were limited this weekend with injuries and a couple people out. And so I really appreciate the way Val came in and stepped up, the way our players stepped up off the bench. And then, of course, Jayla gave a great effort all weekend defensively. She really does a great job of being the glue for us defensively. And she makes sure that we're playing defense with energy. And she also brings that energy herself. She's always has her teammates back Every possession is not going to be perfect, but she closes up a lot of holes and covers up a lot of mistakes just based on her activity and the things that she does. She also does a great job rebounding on both ends of the floor. So I think she did a great job of coming in and doing a great job as well. And again, as I always mention, we put a lot of pressure on that first group, good pressure in making sure we get off to a great start and sustain throughout the game. And I think they all did that in their performances this weekend.
And now you've played 3 straight home games. Now you head back on the road to Towson this weekend. Very high scoring team, includes CAA preseason player of the year, Kiana Jeter. And Towson also, on the other hand, has not played since January 2nd. However, they've had quite a few series postponed. James Madison, Elon, UNCW, they haven't played in quite some time now. So they're really looking forward to getting back out on the floor, especially on their home court. So what will be the game plan this week for Hofstra to slow down Towson?
Exactly what you just said. Slow them down. They are a fast-paced, high-scoring team, and we've got to make sure that we control the tempo of the game. They do a great job in transition of pushing the ball, and many times a shot is going up within the first 3 or 4 seconds of a shot clock. So we've got to make sure that we slow the ball down, that we are in position to contain any shooters, that we protect the basket when it's coming that quickly, and that we force them to have to play in the half court. They do a great job in transition. They get, even on made shots, they get the ball out quickly, they get it up the floor quickly, and they have confidence in how they attack early in that shot clock. And so we've got to make sure we do our job in transition defense, especially of making sure we control the tempo of the game. And then the same for us offensively. We want to continue to push as well and look to get points out in transition.
Great, Coach. Well, once again, Hofstra on the road this weekend at Towson, and watch live on Flow Hoops, both games 2 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. So, Coach, I wish you the absolute best of luck this weekend. Go out there and get them, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.